Go get your sailing shoes on for a little sneaking alley through the alley. Let's go. Everybody, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. You found your way over to the Modest Audiophile channel. My name is Mark. Thanks for coming. Yeah, today we're going to talk about Robert Palmer's 1974 debut solo album, Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley. I didn't even know this thing existed 5 years ago. Glad I do now, and more on that here in a few minutes. So what we're going to talk about today is briefly, why the heck did I buy this album? I was born in 1969. Why did I buy it? And then we'll go over a little bit about the musicians on the album, because there's a couple of real good notables that I want to mention. We'll talk about the presentation, the overall condition of the record, and then we'll talk about what we're all here to learn, or to know, or want to know, or maybe nothing. But anyway, we'll talk about the how this thing sounds, right? And then if you stick around long enough, I'll pull out some of the things on some of the songs that I thought were pretty darn cool and I wanted to share with you. And then we'll get you out of here, okay? Okay. So, let's start a little bit of the history of the album. Well, let's talk a little bit about why I bought this thing first. Again, I gotta go back to the year of COVID real quick. A lot was going on. 2020, summer of 2020. Yeah, everything was home. There was no more traveling around the country to, in my case, going to different customer sites. No, everything was back home. Therefore, I was doing a lot of exploration of the New England IPA, barbecuing just about every night, and doing a lot of listening to the Grateful Dead. Well, how does the Grateful Dead get me to Robert Palmer? All right, the algorithms in the stations from, say, in my case, Amazon Music. So I put on the Grateful Dead station, and that would get me into more of Little Feat, right, with Lowell George and all of that. And then this one, it was on my feed, and I hit like, and I just kept getting it. I got this really long song that I thought was called Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley. And I'm like, Robert Palmer, oh my gosh, this song is great. My toes never stopped tapping, my head never stopped bobbing, going from the Dead to Little Feat to this. And I just made a mental note. And then I put it in my phone, someday go find out what this album's all about and go get it if you get a chance. And that's what I did. So a little bit more on that long song in a minute here, but a little bit about the album history. Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley is the debut solo album by Robert Palmer, released in 1974. It followed 3 album releases co-fronting the band Vinegar Joe. So I learned something. I have no idea who Vinegar Joe is, but I'm going to want to check them out now. Let's give them a little bit of a stream and see what they sound like. Palmer is backed by the Meters and Lowell George of Little Feat. Multiple reviewers have commented that Palmer sang confidently on this album despite being backed by more accomplished musicians such as Lowell George, Art Neville, and New Orleans singer-songwriter Alan Toussaint. I thought that was interesting. It was recorded in both New Orleans and New York, and it was released on Island Records, produced by Steve Smith. So Steve Smith, why do I know that name? Well, it's a very common name, but here's what I found out about this particular Steve Smith. He produced for Island Records, but he produced Jim Capaldi, Bob Marley and the Wailers, Toots and the Maytals, Rough Diamond, No Dice, Gillan, and Supertramp. All right, so he's got some bona fides here. Interesting Steve Smith. So real quick before we get into the packaging and how this thing sounds and all of that, again, a little bit more on Robert Palmer. I knew Robert Palmer like most of my generation, right? Gen X, don't forget about us. 1979, Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you. That's what I remember first hearing Robert Palmer. And then, of course, we move into the 80s. MTV explodes all over the place, and we've got Robert Palmer there with 2 huge hits, 2 huge video hits. And I remember that they were like the 2 sides of the same coin as far as the videos go. The The women in the video had that, that tight hair pulled back in ponytails with the black dresses, I think. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Addicted to Love and Simply Irresistible were the two big, big hits of the 1980s for Robert Palmer. And then he did a little thing with some of the guys from Duran Duran, and that band was called Power Station or The Power Station. They had two big hits, right? They had Some Like It Hot, which I can still remember pieces of the video, and then they did a great version of the T-Rex song, Bang a Gong, Get It On. So that's how I knew Robert Palmer. I had no idea that he was such a soulful, funky singer. I wish I knew earlier, because this album, again, as we get into this is a great album. As far as the overall presentation of the album, it's good. I didn't spend a fortune on this album. Here's the front. Here's the back. That's it. Had a paper sleeve inside, unfortunately. I changed that out for a nice poly sleeve. This particular version is, I guess you call it lime green. The overall, it's a nice thick, I guess this is 180 gram. Thick, flat, no scuff marks. I put it through the Humming Guru, slapped it on the turntable. I didn't hear anything. I did not hear any surface noise. I didn't hear any clicks, pops. I was really impressed. Again, I don't know how much I paid for it. I think I paid maybe 30 bucks. So overall, very, very happy with the condition of the album. And I didn't have to pay any extra for the overall presentation. It works. It's a record sleeve. We'll leave it at that. All right, let's get to why we're all here. How does this thing sound? How does it sound? Let's talk about the tone stack first, and then we'll talk about soundstage and imaging, some overall thoughts of the album in general, and if you stick around long enough, we'll talk about some of the individual songs and what I thought was pretty remarkable from them, and then we'll get you out of here, okay? All right. As far as the tone stack goes, the bass was good. I wasn't looking for a subwoofer or anything like that, but no, the bass wasn't pushing you back in your chair or anything like that. But this type of music, it's not necessary anyway. Bass was good. Mids were even better. Mids, the vocals, Lowell George's slide guitar, oh my gosh, was that thing buttery. Awesome, awesome. We'll get to more of that in a minute. Mids were very, very good. In fact, I'd say that's the strength of this overall album. To come in a close second would be the treble. You had some really nice high-end sparkle coming out of the speakers, especially with the percussion. Really good percussion, hand claps, cymbals, great cymbal decay, a really tight hi-hat. Yeah, the treble and the mids were excellent on this thing. Soundstage and imaging. Soundstage was good. I'd say the imaging was even better, very good. Now, soundstage, why is it good and not blow your mind outstanding? Well, it's the size of the soundstage. This soundstage maxed out about 1.5 feet to 2 feet outside my speakers. My speakers are 9 feet apart. I sit 9 feet away. Not to be mistaken with like a 45 RPM analog production where I'm getting a soundstage that's bigger than my room. No, this is a good soundstage. Again, about 1.5 feet to 2 feet left or right of my speakers. The imaging, really nice. You had some, all the instruments are locked in their place. Very tight lines between instruments. You do have some depth, I'd say, from the front of the speakers to maybe a foot behind them. Nothing's really projecting into the room, but you are getting some depth, which has some really nice layering. And if you close your eyes while you're listening, in your mind's eye, there are some moments on this album where you're getting a very good holographic type of image in your mind's eye. We'll get to those in some of the songs here in a second. So yeah, soundstage is good. Imaging is very good. Quite enjoyable. Again, I didn't pay 45, 50 bucks for this album either. So as far as value for money, really good soundstage. Now a couple thoughts on the overall album, and then we'll get into some dB checks, and again, like I said, we'll move on to some of the songs. So some of the thoughts, again, very quiet. I was not distracted by any surface noise whatsoever. It's tight. The musicianship on this record is fantastic. There's enough space within the music, so you're hearing, none of the instruments are overplaying each other. You get some air within this recording. Like I said, there are some moments where you kind of go, oh my gosh, I think they're right here. Not the whole album, but there are some moments, so it's a really good recording. Killer rhythm section. And some really, I think, really tasty slide playing by Lowell George. You're going to hear a lot of that. I think on 5 of the 8 songs on this album, he's playing slide. The last thing I said here was, if a body part isn't moving while you're listening to this, if your head isn't bobbing, your toe ain't tapping, your fingers ain't snapping, you may want to get yourself checked out, because this record is going to get you to move. So yeah, more on that as we close out this video, but get yourself checked out if you're not moving a body part or two. All right, couple decibel level checks. I did 2 of them. The first one was Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley, which is the 3rd song on side 1. I had a low end of 68 decibels, high end of 89 for an average of 81 decibels. And then on side 2, I did, I think this is the first song on side 2, called How Much Fun. Low end of 63 decibels, high end of 89 again, and a average of 82. So, a easy to listen to album. It's not going to offend anybody. No ear fatigue whatsoever. You got enough pop, enough punch. It's got a little dynamic range going on there. Fun album. All right. So let's get on to side 1. Side 1 starts with, not one long song like I thought it was. No, 3 songs. Call them the trilogy or trifecta, whatever you want. But it starts off with Sailing Shoes. Yes, this is the one that was written by Lowell George and Fred Martin of Little Feat. In fact, they have an album titled by that song. Yeah, that came out right. An album titled the same thing as the song. Anyway, it starts off with a nice smack of the snare drum. Not a thump, not a punch, not a pop, but a smack. Excellent way to just says, okay, we're here now, smack. Tasty slide coming out of the left side of the soundstage, and if you're a fan of Little Feat and you know Lowell George, unmistakably you know it's coming out of the left side of your soundstage. And that goes right into Hey Julia, which was written by Robert Palmer, and there's no break in between these first 3 songs. It just one goes right into the other. Right away, you've got some hand claps starting with Hey Julia, a nice tight hi-hat in the center, great space in between instruments, and I put xylophone here. I did research. I tried to find out what instrument this was. I don't know if it's a glockenspiel or a xylophone or what, but I couldn't find any information. If you know what it is, let me know. Tell me if my ears are right or wrong. But coming out of the right-hand side of the soundstage, about halfway back, depth-wise, halfway back into the soundstage, unmistakable xylophone type of sound. In fact, you're hearing it so well, you're hearing the notes decay. It's full. It's great. I've never heard that before. And again, granted, I've mostly heard this on a JBL boombox outside, after a beer or 2, and I never caught the xylophone before. So that was cool. That was really cool. All right, that goes right into Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley, which was written by Alan Toussaint. Didn't know that. It's tight. Again, more great slide coming out of the left side of the soundstage. You feel like you're in the bayou. You're having gumbo down in New Orleans. This is fantastic song. Nice image I put here. Great harmonica coming out of the center left of the soundstage, and it's presented really good. It's forward. You can hear it perfectly. And I just put the last thing here. Tasty as a fine bowl of gumbo. Yeah, fantastic song. All right, 4th song called Get Outside. It just sets you up with what the soundstage looks like here. In the center, you got the bass, the drums, the vocals. On the left, far left and far right, you have percussion. On the left side, as always, you've got Lowell and his slide guitar. On the right is where you have the piano. And the piano in this case, oh, it's so realistic. You hear the note decay. The piano is actually in space. It's really good in the image. It's really well. And the vocals on this song, yeah, Robert's he's bringing everything he's got to the vocals of this song. He's bringing it up from, you know, down below. Really stretching himself well on this. Sounds great. Sounds emotional. Really good vocals on this. And that goes into the last song on side one called Blackmail. Crisp hi-hat in the center. Great bass playing I put here. Really good groove. Great bass playing. Center. In fact, I couldn't get my ears off of the bass for the entirety of this song. Really nice. Fun tune I put. All right, let's get on to side two. Hey everybody, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. If this is your first time here, yeah, take a look around. This is my 50th video. Perhaps there's another one out here that you like. You'll never know until you take a little snoop around. For those that have been here before, thanks for returning. I appreciate it. If you want to support the channel and you like this content, yeah, hit like. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed and you're looking to throw away some Monopoly money, it's free. Hit the subscribe button. You can always take it away later. All right, that's enough of that. Let's get back to some head bobbing, toe tapping, lip smacking, Robert Palmer, sneaking Sally through the alley. This thing was so much fun. All right, let's go. Side two is starts off with How Much Fun, and I just put lots. Never heard this song in my life. Great song. Really enjoyed it. You feel like you're high stepping in a parade down Bourbon Street. Right? Never been to New Orleans, but you feel like you're high stepping in a parade down Bourbon Street when you're listening to this song. This song had as big a soundstage as there was on the album. So again, about 1.5 to 2 feet left and right of the speakers. And I just put sharp. Everything was really sharp and precise on the song. Really, really fun. Great way to start side two. All right, that kicks into the second song on side two, and this was the second song written by Alan Toussaint. I'm going to put this in order of what you hear first, because this song had a nice slow build. I thoroughly enjoyed this song, and the last song on the album too, but this one really took me by surprise. So it starts off this way. On the right-hand side of the soundstage, you hear that guitar with the wah-wah pedal. Right, playing rhythm. That's the first thing that you hear. Second, you hear Robert's vocals coming out of the center of the soundstage. Third, Lowell kicks in with a little slide on the left side of the soundstage. And you got a little groove starting there. All of a sudden, the bass and the drums kick in the center. And then you got a little bit of piano going on the right-hand side of the soundstage as well. Nice separation of all these instruments. They come in one at a time. They're layered. This was a great song. Really, really good groove. I thoroughly enjoyed it. In fact, what I found myself doing is playing side two more than I was playing side one for sheer enjoyment. Again, because I knew the first 3 songs on the album quite well. Excellent song, From a Whisper to a Scream. And the last song on the album is called Through It All There's You. This is a 12-minute and 17-second slow burn jam type of thing. It goes up, it goes down. It's a journey of a song. So do yourself a favor. Turn the lights down a little bit on this one. Get that nice warm glow going on in your listening room. If you got a beverage, this is the time to make sure you top it off. Really, really good song to end the album with. Fantastic. Let me just tell you what the lyrics are to start. I don't normally do this, but the lyrics of the first verse go, you know the future will soon be past, climb on first, get off last. Robert Palmer has got this, this song is just loose. The band is playing loose. Robert's vocals, his cadence is very loose. This song probably has the best overall image on the entire album. What else did I put here? I go, the snare and hi-hat in this song, Yeah, like I said earlier, there are a couple moments on this record where if you close your eyes, you kind of feel like you're there. This is one of them. Again, probably the best image and soundstage on the record. Great vocals, I'd put. Nice big bass in the center. Excellent organ and piano. This song was fun. It's probably my favorite song on the album now, at the moment, because it's also one of the newer songs to me. Really, really good song. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I put here, great way to end the album. All right, everybody, that's it. Robert Palmer, Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley, 1974, Island Records. Wow, this was a lot of fun. If you're looking to change it up a little bit, get out of the doldrums, get out of the same cycle of the records you're always listening to, or the styles of records you're always listening to, you got an extra 35 minutes on your, you got an extra 35 minutes in your day, don't you? Well, find it if you can. And you don't have to trust me. You don't have to go try to find this on vinyl at first. Go out there and stream. If you got a really good DAC, yeah, go and stream this thing. Test it out for yourself. Because at the end of the day, if not now, when are you going to do it? Find some time for yourself. Like I stated in my last video, it's January. It still gets dark earlier. There's not a lot going on. There's only a handful of football teams still in the playoffs, so the most of us are sitting at home going, all right, get me to spring or summer. So do this, yeah. Turn the lights down in your listening room, grab your favorite beverage, slap this puppy on, and enjoy the ride, okay? Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I'll get to you next time. Bye.